Yo, what is going on? How is everyone doing today? All right, so I was going to come on here and just start a regular episode of the Risen Fallen podcast here. But last night, I think 11 hours ago or whatever, so today is April 27th. It's Sunday right now. This will be dropping tomorrow morning, but I'm sure you guys have seen this. I just want to talk about this really quick, and then I'll get into today's episode. But I just wanted to kind of go over this right now because last night, for people that are in the Vancouver area, you've probably heard about this if you've opened your phone in the last day. But for people that aren't in the Vancouver area, on Saturday, Saturday night, the 26th, there was this event, it's like the Lapu Lapu block party or something like that, but basically like a big Filipino block party in Vancouver, just celebrating Filipino-ness, which, dude, I'm all for it. I'm sure there's great food, great music. Lord knows that it'll have good singing there and some maybe, I don't know. But some sick fuck is just kind of ruined everything, obviously. So there's this guy that just basically takes his car and rams into a crowd of people, 11 people dead, tons of injured people, and it's just the time, like, it's so tragic, obviously, and just by the nature of talking about an event that happened 11 hours ago, obviously more details are still to come out, but obviously thoughts and prayers with all the family members that were impacted by that. That's terrible. Literally like the worst thing that I can think of. That imagine that, like, you just wake up and anyways, I don't want to get too deep into that, but the part that really I guess really like caught my eye is this is the morning after. Like, we're talking like 12 hours after, I think, something like that. I don't know, maybe 18. I don't know what time this specifically happened at. I guess, it says 8 p.m. So yeah, we're talking like 14, 15 hours ago. And the thing that really irks me is, so far in the details, it's kind of said there's a couple of different things that really catch my eye. First of all, it's like, I thought we got rid of all the weapons. How are there people that are able to kill 11 people in, the matter of seconds? Like, if you ban all the deadly weapons, like, what, we're going to... It seems like instead of passing the responsibility on to anybody else or anything else, like inanimate objects, people that are creating laws to try and protect people might want to just hold the people that hurt others accountable. Just my first thought. The second thought I had was kind of compounding off that first thing, which is, it says the suspect in a deadly Vancouver car ramming had a history of mental health related interactions with the police. Surprise, surprise. It turns out, because a lot of people are like, oh, but these people aren't mentally well. It's like, yeah, nobody that would do that would be mentally well, right? Like, let's just use our common sense. I don't think anybody that has a strong or solid or even remotely normal level, like a healthy mind, whatever you want to describe mental health with, nobody that's healthy would do anything like this. Like, not even, you might... There obviously, there's times in traffic where you're just sitting there thinking like, fuck, I just want to ram this back of this car or whatever. Even then, you got to be like pretty off your rocker for that. But to do something like this, like, yeah, of course, someone's not mentally healthy. And now, does that mean that we just don't hold them accountable? Some people think that. I am not one of them. And the thing that really irks me, and I don't want to get too like political or anything on this podcast because it's not what the point is. But the thing that really irks me is he goes, The man had an extensive history of interactions with the police and mental health professionals. And it's like, how do you have an extensive history with somebody like this and then not, be able to prevent anything? It's like, obviously there's some sort of a mechanism in our society that continuously allows, for some reason, and I'm not even really specifically pointing any fingers of like who did this or who's responsible for that, but it's like, obviously there's some sort of a mechanism going on where mentally unhealthy people, mentally unwell people are able to just continuously act out violently. Like, I remember last year there was something where some guy was like vaping downtown in Vancouver, and then some guy was like, "Hey, do you mind not blowing the vape smoke in my baby's face?" And he just knifed the dad. And it's like, yeah, clearly there's a mechanism here going on where people don't think that they're going to have any consequences, B, don't believe that there even is any consequences, and C, like it's clear that they're kind of right. Like, if someone can have an extensive history with the police and mental health professionals or whatever the words they use, like, it's like, when is enough enough? When are people going to demand some sort of a change? Like, how about, wouldn't it be nice if you could just walk down the downtown east side and not get stabbed for asking someone not to blow vape smoke in your baby's face? Wouldn't it be sweet if you could just go to a block party in Vancouver and not just be run over by somebody that has already had an extensive history of interactions with the police? Wouldn't that be nice? And it's just brutal. Like, it piggybacks off of kind of, this idea of like, we're so like afraid of being offensive, being like holding people accountable. We're so quick to just give him oh, well, he's not mentally well. Oh, well, he was dealing with this or he's dealing with that or whatever. It's like, well, is that fair at all to now the 11 different families that now have to deal with this? Like, that's crazy, dude. And yeah, I mean, today's election day, so this I said it last episode and I'll say it again. Like, it's like, dude, look at what's been going on in the last 10 years. Look who's been in charge. Ignore all the fake stuff that you hear in state propaganda, which is what I call mainstream news. Anything made in the mainstream news is literally fake and state propaganda. Ignore all of that. Just actually use your common sense and think. In the last 10 years, has life gotten better at all? At all? Like, is your dollar worth more? No. Okay. Is your rent more affordable? No. Okay. How about groceries? Gas? Anything more affordable? No. And your dollar's worth less than ever. The streets aren't safe. You can't go to a freaking block party, a Filipino block party. Should literally be the least violent place of all. Like, that's like karaoke, barbecue. That's all I can think. It's like, what in the world, dude? Yeah, it's absolutely insane. So just ask yourself, like, is this, I don't know, do you feel like you want to raise a family in Vancouver? Even if you could afford to? And do you think your kids will be set up for success? I'm not like kowtowing or whatever is that the right word? Cow. Yeah, I don't even know what that means. It's not I don't really understand, but I'm not really like trying to boost up any political party in specific. But what I would urge you to do is think about, what's been going on in the last 10 years. And if you want to vote for the exact same thing, or do you want to vote for the opposite thing? Because if leader A or party A has been in power for the last 10 years, and every year inflation gets worse, the economy gets worse, everything gets less affordable, things get less safe, like literally in every aspect of the world, in terms of what the government is involved in, has just gotten worse. You know, I would start looking for an option B. That's all I'm saying. That being said, that's not even what I was planning on talking about today. That was just like I woke up, I turned on my computer here to start recording, and it was like the first thing that I saw. A bunch of my friends posting about it, and even my dad sent me a message being like, "Yo, did you hear about this?" And it's just like, man, it's insane. It's obviously it's crazy timing, and I'm sure look, events like this happen all the time. Not obviously exactly like this, but what I'm saying is, tragic events, not just in Vancouver here, but if you look at the entire world, these things happen on a daily basis. Hell, there's places in the world right now that are literally being bombed off the surface of the earth. And so it is just, I don't know. It's like it's election season. Literally tomorrow, the day that this drops, this is election day. And so, it's obvious that there is some sort of a propaganda thing here because it is in the news. But it's something to think about. It's it's terrible. It's tragic, and yeah, it's not even just 11 families, because every single one of those people had people that loved them, their friends. Like they could have been going to a crochet class this week. They could have been doing a Bible study. They could have been doing a cooking, a baking, a bake sale. They could have been every single one of these people. It's not just their immediate family. There is hundreds of people impacted by this now, thousands. Because every person that they knew, and even me, I don't even know. Lord willing, I hope I don't know anybody that was hurt, or but it's I'm still, this, maybe I shouldn't let it impact me, but it's it really frustrates me. And my first thought was this suspect should be should have just been quartered in the street right there, tie his arms and legs up to 4 different cars, and right there in the intersection, just let's deal with this. There's no need for dude, at that rate, no need for a trial at that point. Yeah, that's that was my first thought. So maybe that's not the right way to deal with it, but I'm just letting you know, that was my first thought. So look, it's maybe that is just where we should leave it off. I don't know. That's not even what I was actually planning on coming on here for today. Really, what I was actually coming on here to do is just chat about making the hard things in life a little bit more enjoyable. And I guess that's kind of what I was, I would talk about a tragic story like that, and then I'd throw in a couple jokes, try and make a little laugh, try and make a little smile. I don't know. It's maybe this is a perfect example of it, but it's kind of there's going to be days where you start your day off, you hear about a story like that, and obviously I hope not, but maybe you wake up and you knew one of these people, you kind of have a connection to one of these people. You feel, as though now it's well, what am I supposed to do for the rest of the day? You wake up and you see, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do, there's this obligation I have. And now I can't even think about, anything in my day. I can't do, we have you have like that kind of like response where you just kind of like, well, I just need to sit on this. I need to just like kind of feel this. However, there's things you got to get done. Maybe you got to go to work. Maybe you got to, be there for somebody else. Maybe there's something else that you have to do. And on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, there's going to be so many of these experiences where it's like, I have to do this thing, but it's the last thing I want to do right now. And we avoid things all the time. Difficult things, boring things, monotonous things, etc. But always when we have the obligation to somebody else, it makes it like not easier to do it, but we usually do it more often. And what I mean by that is like, you have your bills coming in, your debt coming in, your rents, etc. And you're like, well, I have to pay this, and the only way I make money is if I go to work. So what do? You go to work, or I don't know, maybe you call in sick and get a little sick day going, but I don't get paid sick days. So when I know that I have bills to pay, it's like, well, I go to work. That's that. That's that. But so many times with those bills, if that debt, if that, what we owe is really just to ourselves. And what I mean by that is like if we don't do the thing, then nobody's going to be negatively impacted except for you. Those are the things that we are actually more likely to avoid. The things like working out, things like eating well, the things like journaling, the things like reading books, the things like, just taking care of yourself. Those are the things we're the quickest to avoid or the most likely not to do. And so I think personally, because I think that is the case, because there's no like kind of like, if you skip work, your boss is going to scold you. If you skip on, paying your bills, you're not going to have the services that you'd like. But if you skip on, these things like workouts or eating properly or taking care of yourself, then the missed payment is to yourself. Every skipped workout, every broken promise to, I'm going to eat clean today, and then you fuck that up or anything like that is just like a small little, like hard to see, like debt. And there's no public guilt. There's no there's no exterior person or external person that's going to see that and think, oh, shame on you, brother. It's just kind of like shame on me. That's it. And when you're doing things like that all the time, it will slowly build like self-resentment and lead to more sabotage, because it's like if you had somebody in your life that consistently said, hey, tomorrow I'm going to do this thing for you, and you banked on it. You're like, okay, I'm not going to do that thing because they said they're going to do it, and then they let you down. How many times would you trust that person? And then how many times would you work hard to try and do something for them? Chances are, after a couple days, a couple weeks, couple months of somebody saying, hey, tomorrow I'm going to take care of you by doing this, and then not do it, you would start to cut that person out of your life. You'd be like, dude, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Stop telling me you're going to do this thing, because you don't even do it. Don't say you're going to have my back if you're not going to have it. But yet we do that to ourselves on a regular basis. We're like, well, tomorrow I'm going to do this thing. Tomorrow I'm going to do that. And then we don't do it. And if anyone else in our lives did that, eventually, sometimes we let it go on for far too long, but eventually we would be like, dude, stop treating me like this. Like, stop it. Go and do this to somebody else. But then we're so quick to do it to ourselves. And if you're continuously treating yourself like that will build resentment, like self-resentment. And if you resent part of yourself because you're like, hey, this part of myself is sabotaging me, it's not going to lead to a healthy relationship with yourself, I guess, is to say the least. It's like that. It's just going to keep compounding. You're going to resent yourself more. You're going to sabotage yourself more, which will make you resent yourself more, which will make you sabotage yourself more. And if you think that that's going to do anything positive for your self-esteem, you got another thing coming. Remember that song? Anyways, Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. But I don't know. One of the tricks I use to try and get myself to do these things when on days where I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do this, or this really something that like I don't know, like I didn't sleep the night before. I got in an argument with somebody. I got something terrible happens, or maybe sometimes it's like something great happened. You're just like, fuck, I don't want to do this work. I want to celebrate. What I do personally, I like to try and use that Pavlov's dog method of just using some sort of like an instant gratification, a means of instant gratification to attract myself to do something that will provide me with delayed gratification. And so, like if you're going to go for a run in a beautiful place. Go for a beach. Go to a beach. Go listen to your favorite song while you do it. Go listen to a podcast while you do it. I don't know. Turn it into something that you'd actually like to show up for. Some people like to go and do it in groups. Some people like to do it by themselves. If you have to do some journaling, if you have to do some counseling, if you have to do some reading, get yourself a little outfit to do that in. I don't know, whatever makes you feel cute, whatever makes you feel happy. Like, get yourself a pair of sweats and a fucking mug that you really, this is going to be my reading mug. This is going to be, and then it's like exciting. It gives you a routine, a little ritual. Same with eating food, like healthy food. Like, it's like you don't have to, there's certain ways you can do it to make it taste good. You don't have to have like that bland diet food of like just mustard, chicken breast, rice, and fucking frozen veggies. Even though that's what I like to eat, but you could actually cook food that you enjoy. Use some fucking different sauces or spices, or, good steak is hard to beat, to be honest. And, one of the things I do is like half the time when I'm working out at home, if I'm just lifting weights in my living room here or doing something like that, like I'll just throw on a show that I like to watch. You like kind of trick yourself into, oh, I'm just going to watch a show. And it's like, oh, well, I can't sit still when I watch things anyway, so I might as well move. And if I'm moving, I might as well be building muscle. Like, that's the way that I literally trick myself into doing it. And then over time, it just becomes like, oh, you just work out and watch shows in the morning. You just work out. And then realistically, it's like, well, my muscles don't know I'm watching shows. I'm just working out. So, kind of I don't know. Obviously, the things like that aren't going to always be. But even when I worked in sales, like when I used to work a desk job and I would just be like sitting here and I would have like a computer screen in front of me and I would have my list of leads and I'd have to make, phone calls. I would find ways to kind of, I would make little challenges for myself. I would make ways to gamify it of like, oh, I'm going to try and get this person to tell me their favorite color while we're on the phone. Or like little weird things like that. Like try and like do things that would just make it like more fun for me that wouldn't really impact my job at all. But it would just make it like, it's like, hey, at least I get a little laugh out of this. Like at least I get, try and it sounds stupid and funny, but it's like, dude, if you could find a way, even if you're like, hey, I have to do like 100 emails today. And you're like, every 25, I'm going to read myself I don't know, like a funny meme or whatever. I don't know. Try and find a way to bring up memes with your customers. Just laugh. Like, you'll be surprised how much more enjoyable your day will get when you can find little ways to have fun during things that you don't want to do. That's like, it's like, it's easy to skip all the hard stuff. It's easy to, stop doing things or just avoid them altogether when there's no like boss breathing down your neck or staring at your screen or whatever it is. It's easy to be a flake to yourself, to not follow through with the commitments that you've made, to not do the things that you know you need to do because you think that you're just letting down yourself. Maybe you don't even think that, but you are. But it's more than that because these types of things trickle down into how you treat other people. Because at the end of the day, how you do, like, it's such a cliche. I was trying to think of a different way to say this, but it's like how you do anything is how you do everything. If you're willing to self-sabotage, if you're willing to treat yourself like garbage, like why would you treat anybody else any better? It doesn't really make sense to me. And so like when I see like kind of the happiest people in my life, the people that are the most generous, the most level-headed, the people that are most, emotionally intelligent, they're not doing things like that. They're not doing this like cycle of self-resentment and self-sabotage every single day. They treat themselves like somebody they love. And then that makes them a more loving person and understand love and grace more and extend that to others as well. And so when I see that in other people, I think, how can I try and emulate that myself? But that thing that I'd have to do or change in my life, like I don't really like that. Well, how can I implement it in my life in a more seamless way? That's kind of the thought process that I use. And so on that note, I think that's a beautiful place to wrap this up. My brain is scrambled. It's all over the place. And tragic event here in Vancouver. But crazy situation. It's a crazy world. Make sure that you go out and, cast your vote. Let your voice be heard. If you have thoughts on this, you think that I'm missing the mark completely, please do let me know. But it's a crazy fucked up world out there, but we got work to do. So let's get out there, get after it. Much love. Peace out. Love you all. See you next Monday. Bye.